Hello friends, and welcome to another belated video from my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. A few days ago I have seen the final episode of Star Trek Discovery. It was called Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, and these are my honest opinions about it. And as always with these Discovery videos, I am trying to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but I will talk about some important plot points. So take it as a little warning. And this video will not be short, I actually plan to split it into two parts. Well, I think I am too old. I have seen this episode 3 times, desperately trying to find out what is going on, but with no success. I'm not joking, for the first something like 40 minutes I have no clue what's going on. I think that I'm supposed to be watching a giant space battle, but all I see are blinking lights, streaks of colorful lights, and CGI fireballs overlaid over giant colorful polygons. I was desperately trying to find out what's going on. I wasn't able to follow it. The only thing I got from this whole sequence was a massive headache. Every single time I try to watch it, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue who is fighting who. I mean, I know that it's the Enterprise together with the Discovery fighting Leland and the Section 31 ships, but during the battle I have no clue who is who or why should I care. What is going on? Is this an age thing? Am I too old to be able to process fast-paced blinking scenes? I mean, a few weeks ago I have seen another epic space battle on a tiny little show you probably heard about, called The Orville, and that one was really epic, for me, and I had no problems following what's going on, and I definitely had no headaches. This really reminded me on the messy space battles in the Star Wars prequels, and the less I think about the Star Wars prequels, the better. And it's not really about the CG effects. I also had a huge problem following what is the bridge of the Enterprise and what is the bridge of the Discovery, even though in the last episode they were clearly distinctively different. So, I have no clue what's going on during the first 40 minutes, but this episode is something like 65 minutes long, so that means that the rest of the episodes is great, right? Well, so we have multiple storylines going on at the same time, so I'm not going to cover them in a chronological order. We start with Saru and Leland arguing who has a bigger fleet, and Leland suddenly does something which causes the big ships fall apart into much smaller ships. What's the point? So instead of one ship with huge firepower which presents a huge threat, you end up with 1,000 of tiny ships which are just annoying and not a threat at all. Was Leland trying to use them as a distraction? I honestly have no clue. So he releases the tiny ships in a shot which reminds me of Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, not the old one. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's just a coincidence, and no other scenes will look exactly as different scenes from much better sci-fi movies and TV shows, right? So, then we see Michael putting on the Red Angel suit, or she actually just stands and the suit, well, for a lack of a better word, swallows her, in a shot which looks exactly like taken from the Iron Man movies. That's also a coincidence, right? I mean, there are no similarities between the Red Angel suit and the Iron Man suit. I mean, when we see the Red Angel suit HUD, it looks exactly like the HUD from the Iron Man suit. What the hell is going on? Then Spock says that he will fly his shuttle with Michael. Why? I don't get it. Back on the bridge, Saru says that they will lower the shields so that Michael can jump out of the ship. So they lower the shields and we see Michael jump out of the ship through a fully active shield. What is going on again? But Michael in the suit and Spock in the shuttle fly together somewhere. When they land somewhere again together. Wait a moment, why didn't Michael fly with Spock in the shuttle? What did they gain when they split up? Anyway, Saru thinks that they can't hold much longer, so they decide to let Leland on board. The next time we cut to the Discovery, Leland boards it and everybody's shocked that Leland is there. Wasn't this their plan in the previous scene? So they fight and they fight and they fight and they fight. They, being Empress Georgiou and that weird alien woman from the Enterprise, fight with Leland. Then an explosion happens, both of the women get sucked out into space and the new hole is immediately closed by a hedge. Wait, why is there a hedge below a random hole in the hull? What's happening again? So Georgiou and the other women are dead and... oh wait, no. They are still in the corridor. Who the hell got sucked out into space? I don't know and I don't care enough to rewatch the scene, because what follows is the first good scene in this episode. A beautiful and very creative fight scene where the gravity goes crazy and they fight on the ceiling and on the walls. It's beautiful to watch, but it's almost a 100% remake of a similar scene from Chris Nolan's Inception. This starts to be suspicious, but I'm sure that I won't see any other scenes taken from other movies. Speaking about stolen scenes, the Enterprise is under heavy fire, so something stupid happens. They release tiny droids to repair the ship from the outside. Not only is it incredibly stupid and breaking the canon, as Discovery loves doing, I have intentionally used the word droids and not robots. The head of the droids are borrowed from R2 units, and the whole scene is stolen from Star Wars Episode 1, Give Me My Refund. It's an homage of a similar scene from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I would never dare to say that CBS steals something in the case that somebody from their legal department is watching this video. So then we see a torpedo being stuck in the hull of the Enterprise, a torpedo which was shot from the Enterprise? See, I wasn't kidding when I said that I have no clue what's going on. I honestly have no clue who is who. So they're sending their best technician or weapons experts to dismantle the torpedo, right? Or you can just send there the female admiral, who was originally a psychiatrist. She will definitely be able to do it, right? Oh yes, the female admiral is suddenly there. She was absent from many of the previous episodes, but mysteriously appears in the 2-episode-long finale. That usually means that she will be okay, right? Or no, they can't dismantle the torpedo, so she decides to stay there to close the blast doors from inside. The blast door, which can be shut only from inside, and has a window, and is able to hold an explosion which should blow up several decks. Yes, the power of an explosion which should destroy several decks of the ship can be blocked by one door with a window. And this makes sense, of course. Now, as usually, I think that her death should be something emotional, but I don't even remember her name. That's the reason why I call her the female admiral. It's something starting with Korn, but I have never managed to remember her name, so why should her death leave an impact on me? But again, maybe there is somebody who liked her, or maybe even considered her to be the best character on the show, so I guess for those people her death scene would be emotional, and not just very stupid, like for me. Well, what else happens? For example, Saru's sister flies with her fleet to help. You know, the priestess, who had no clue about the existence of other life forms except for the Kelpians and the Baul a few weeks ago, is now suddenly a professional pilot taking command of a fleet. Because of course she is. In this point of time, it wouldn't even surprise me if Gandalf the White and Harry Potter would fly there on the wings of eagles to help them. Oh, and the Klingon ship arrives too, with L'Oreal and Vogue on board. You know, that Vogue who she pretended to kill, because otherwise she would lose her position. The same guy who nobody should know that he's still alive, the same guy is now standing by her side, and all of the other Klingons are perfectly okay with it. Oh, and they call her Chancellor, despite a few episodes ago in an attempt to fix the canon, in which they never had a female Chancellor. She asked them to never call her Chancellor again, but instead they should call her Mother. Do they even watch the episodes? Leland, meanwhile, gets killed by Georgiou in the magical mushroom drive chamber in a scene which does not rip off the Terminator franchise. I mean, it's not even funny anymore to see how much they use from other franchises at this point of time. Michael tries to open the wormhole and bring the Discovery 950 years into the future, but first she has to start the previous 5 red signals. I'm not going to even pretend that I understand what is going on, especially how could they see 7 signals in the first episode and now they see only 5? I just like that they address the signals at all. I honestly thought that they will simply ignore them. I don't know, if they don't do something dumb when I expect it, is it worth to call it something positive, right? So Leland is dead now, which means that Control is defeated, but they still need to go to the future? What? Whatever. The previous 5 signals have been started somehow by Michael, so now she can open the wormhole and enter her. And I can say that this sequence does not rip off 2001: A Space Odyssey. No, not at all. It rips off 2001 and Space Odyssey, Star Trek the Motion Picture, and Ant-Man. And the Discovery follows her into the future. So, which movie will we rip off in this scene? That's right, Star Trek the Motion Picture. So, what is the final sequence which is supposed to fix the canon? Well, the Enterprise crew is interviewed by a person who is filmed from behind. The person is male and white, which means he's evil. We never see his face, but maybe he will be a character in season 3 if it ever gets made. So the Enterprise crew simply tells them that the Discovery exploded. That's it. And Spock suggests that they should reform Section 31, destroy Control, and never talk about the Discovery or the Spore Drive ever again. Wow. Brilliant. This is literally the thing I made up when I was a few weeks ago using the toilet after I read the famous interview with Alex Kurtzman, where he promised that the finale will fix everything. I am so lame that I could be a writer for Discovery. Good to know. But I'm rambling on for too long, so the rest will come tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye.